Please, can you help me? Can you help me, please?
I've lost my mum and I don't know where she is. Please, can you help me?
The 12th of June, 2010. I did not think I was going to be doing this one. Series 5 of Doctor Who is one of its strongest run of episodes since its revival. Incredible stories like the 11th Hour, Time of Angels, and its finale with the Pandorica shocked and thrilled audiences to their very core. But its most underrated story has to be The Lodger, which I notice always raises eyebrows when I claim it as one of my favourites, but I will stand by that forever. Its notable guest casting of James Corden proves unpopular in recent years, but I don't mind saying it. Hot take, truth nuke coming down, people. People just be hopping on the bandwagon. They don't even know what he's done wrong. Maybe I'm saying this because I'm endeared to him because of his story of being bullied as a child, but it's probably more so that he played Craig in Doctor Who. Bless him, man. He's the easy punching bag. As is this story, despite which I think is really good. Due to an instability with the TARDIS, the Doctor is stranded, and so goes to become a flatmate with Craig Owens, hapless Craig. Craig is in a pseudo-romance with his friend crush called Sophie, and the Doctor is here to turn all of that completely upside down. Funny hijinks ensue with football and wine and coffee, and so it comes as quite a shock when we see this.
Hello?
Please, will you help me?
Help you? What's wrong?
The neighbour upstairs, otherwise known as the Avatar, otherwise known as 79B Aikman Road. We're talking about a piece of lore so obscure here that there's not even a wiki page for it, people. Not even a wiki page. Let's forge the path. So come with me, folks, as I answer the question, who is the upstairs neighbour? Their purpose is to lure unsuspecting victims up the flat and into their apartment, where presumably bad things happen. But there is a noticeable theme in all of the neighbour's victims. It's only revealed in the final act, but they're all those who want to get away. Sometimes subtly, sometimes less so. This is actually very important to the resolution, where Craig not wanting to go anywhere is what saves him from being turned into another faceless automaton for the neighbour to inhabit. In reality, each of those appearances were actually holograms used from the burnt remnants of previous victims, which is actually a pretty morbid idea for an episode where the Doctor goes around the park to play a bit of footy. These holograms are projections from the flat itself, which is actually a TARDIS, or a shoddy replica at least. The ship is faulty and has broken down on top of the real Aikman Road, Craig's flat. Using an equivalent to the TARDIS's chameleon circuit, it blends in perfectly with its surroundings, making it appear as if it were the top level to a flat which in reality is only 1 story high. Now, perfectly blended in, it is attempting to fix itself and burning up bodies to do it. This faulty time ship is what created the instability in the TARDIS at the start of the episode, and of course serves as foreshadowing for the TARDIS itself being blown up in the finale, which, might I add, is the next episode after this one and has the hypest next time trailer of all fucking time. Holy fuck!
There were cracks. Through some we saw silence and the end of all things.
It's the crack in my wall.
2 parts of space and time that should never have touched, pressed together. All through the universe, ripped in the continuum.
How can it be here? How can it be following me?
I don't know yet, but I'm working it out. Some sort of space-time cataclysm, an explosion maybe. Big enough to put cracks in the universe. But what?
The universe is cracked. The Pandorica will open. Silence will fall.
Pandorica. That's a fairy tale.
If it is real, it's here and it's opening.
What is it?
A box, a cage, a prison.
There was a goblin or a trickster or a warrior soaked in the blood of 1 billion galaxies. The most feared being in all the cosmos. The Pandorica.
More than just a fairy tale.
It's opening.
Your world has visitors.
Daleks, Doctor.
And cyber ships. Sontara, Slovene, Chelonian, Nestine, Dravin.
But what's in there? What could justify all this? What are you? What could you possibly be?
How fucking awesome is this trailer? I love this series! But the identity of what the time ship was, who it belonged to, and what it was doing above Craig's flat, all but remained a mystery. Until now. Well, actually until 2011, where Season 6 rolled onto the scene, and we were finally given an explanation, albeit a subtle one. The Silence story arc. It spanned multiple seasons and effectively underpinned the 11th Doctor's arc from the very beginning. That is why he is the GOAT. But to give you guys the simple rundown, the Silence were once a part of the Church of the Papal Mainframe. They worked under Tasha Lem, who could forget. And bore witness to when all of the creatures of the universe gathered around one planet to follow a signal that was asking what we like to call the question. Naturally, the Doctor snuck down himself, and so began a 100-year battle of attrition. The Church didn't want the question to be answered, because if it was, then the Time Lords would come back, and a Time War 2 would surely commence. So she said, Silence must fall. And so said Silence, offshot from the rest of the Church, and some stuff with Dalek duplicates happened, blah blah blah. Just ignore that, okay? That's not relevant to the story. A good story for another time. We'll come back to that some other day. The point is, the Silence are from here in the timeline, and they go back in time to here because they want to kill the Doctor. The whole series arc for Series 5 is about the TARDIS being destroyed. The Silence have been masterminding that. Series 6, River Song, the Silence have been masterminding that. Series 7, Time of the Doctor, and then we're all caught up to speed. The reason they want to kill him so badly is because if he does go to Trenzalore, well then who knows what might happen. The point is they don't want him to answer any questions, okay? Silence must fall. But how did they go back in time? A good question for right now. Boom! Time machine. Copying the Doctor's TARDIS, they made a version of their own and used that to go back in time to 1969. This was all a part of an intricate and rather needlessly complicated plot to create a fixed point in time involving an astronaut costume and a little girl with superpowers. Trust me, it makes sense in context. Who am I kidding? You guys already know. Luckily for us all, these Silence all get dealt with and they get shot in the face by River Song, and so the time ship was sent into temporal flux. Basically got caught in a time wind and just drifted away. Drifted away all the way back to 79B Eichmann Road. And then the events of the Lodger take place. So right now, the simple timeline is looking a lot like this. On the plus side, here are some fun facts. The story The Lodger was originally meant to be an episode in Series 2. Yes, Series 2 with the Doctor and Rose. Except, of course, instead of Craig, the Doctor would be flat sharing with Mickey. The Tylers were all planned to be written out, so this idea fell through. And instead, the story was adapted into a comic book in Doctor Who magazine, one that shares the same name. This is kind of following on in the same form as What I Did in My Summer Holidays by Sally Sparrow, which was a Doctor Who annual story written by Stephen Moffat in 2005. Famously, this was then later adapted into a full-blown Doctor Who episode, maybe one that you've heard of. It's called Blank. Additionally, a few years later, when this story was fitted into Series 5, the original idea for the villain was for it to be Megalos. Nope, no, I'm not kidding. Megalos, the talking cactus. You guys remember Megalos? So those of you unfamiliar with Doctor Who lore, Megalos is a story in season 18 that features a villainous shape-shifting cactus that most famously takes over the visage of the Doctor, resulting in, to be fair, some genuinely pretty good iconography. Additionally, there were some quite groundbreaking special effects in this one for the time, which would later be cited as the main inspiration for the Series 14 episode Boom. But sadly, I fear the most noteworthy thing about this one is the fact that the actress who played Barbara returns in a completely uncelebrated and unrelated and totally separate character that's never mentioned again. Overall, it is a little bit of a dud. But that's what would have made the gag funny. Do it for the gag, people. For the sake of the gag. To have a sequel to such a boring episode, so much so that even the Doctor wouldn't have remembered it, did seem a little funny, but two things made the creatives change their mind. Firstly was the inclusion of these guys from the End of Time, the Vinvoci, who look very similar to Megalos on their own, but also there were the elderly aliens from the earlier story, Amy's Choice. In the original draft of The Lodger, the Upstairs Neighbour was an old woman, who was then revealed to be Megalos. I think you can see how having a shapeshifter actually makes sense with a lot of what we see in the episode now, but due to the similarities, it was all scrapped and they went with the more enigmatic storyline that we have now. And thank God they did, because if we were still in that timeline, this video would look a lot different. And so there we have it, folks. The mystery of the Upstairs Neighbour finally revealed. A holographic projection created by the 11th Doctor's greatest foes as part of their long con scheme to trap him on the lone planet of Trenzalore. It's funny that they had so much foreshadowing for this as early as they did. And also, I feel like I have to say this, but I didn't catch any of that on the first time round. I had to go back and look at this one recently. It took me years to make the connection. Say I'm not alone, people. Actually, I knew this from the first watch. And with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like, don't forget to subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel because we have a lot more content coming, people. So hop on the bandwagon, we're going crazy, folks. And a special thanks to everyone who helped support the channel. Tom, Cardboard Oracle, Silver Safi, Bunny, Zoom, Dr. Hoomst, Jack Dean Murray, Vorschkorm, The Instinct, Kai Keller, Renegade Time Lord 97, Manny, Eric, Ren, Poop Criminal, Diego, Theta, Dark Tranquil, Chicky, No More Flippin', 6 Doctor Fan 84, Comfy Glitch X, Harry, Sanyu, Amara God, Noah T, T Mara, Dobcool, Casual Log, E West, Christian Rothfuss, Unreal Dinnerbone, Aidan Davies, Reef Edwards, Space, Amber Knight, KCKC, Snurly, Connor Bell, Ertle the Turtle, Andrew Locke, Bill Fleming, Hush, Wasabi, Jessica, Kai M, Kylo Wade, Mel, Owen, Toby-Wan Kenobi, Sophie in the Sky, Goldfish, Johnny, Anthony Lentz, Fuchsia the Jester, Benzuko Lives, Freddie, Ross, JRW, Ethan, Hiroki, GBZ, Cine Curious, Max the Epic Man, Stephen, Only Son AFK, AJ, Andrew Sherburn, Table Printador, Mystic Shorty, Clown Car, Jules, Ollie Pixon, ItZ5, Moth, Humanoid Gaming, Swaro, Philippe, Nick, Kastretch, Just Tim, and Teddy Bite. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!